Hoopalings Hoopa here, and if you're anything like me, you're excited about the return of Mega Evolution in Pokemon Legends Z to A. And there's a lot of things to talk about. There's a lot of speculation going around. There's a lot of cool things to talk about. But I want to give you guys my opinion on the Pokemon that I think deserve a Mega Evolution. Now, before we get started into the actual video, I just want to preference a few things first. First is, I'm not going to be adding Pokemon that I mentioned in previous videos on the same topic, so no starters, no Mewtwo, or anything like that. I'm also not going to be giving Pokemon who have new regional forms, region fakes, G-Max forms, anything that was added for a special Pokemon like Tauros or Farfetch'd or Meowth, for example. I'm not going to be adding those onto the list, and this list is in no particular order. So, without any further ado, let's start off this video with Golduck. Now, Golduck is an oddity in the Pokemon world. It has gold in its name despite it being blue, and it has an affinity for Psychic-type moves, going as far as having more Psychic-type moves than Water-type moves, despite it being pure Water-type. Even its previous evolution, Psyduck, has Psy in its name, despite it being pure Water-type, and I think it's time to fix that mistake. Golduck is a decent special attacking Pokemon with a special attack of 95, but the rest of its stats are mediocre at best, with its second highest stat being speed at 85, 10 points below its special attack. Golduck would benefit greatly from Mega Evolution. Boosting its speed and attack stats alone would make this Pokemon better, not to mention it could gain the Psychic type in addition to keeping its Water typing, fixing the mistake that Golduck has being a pure Water type Pokemon. And let's be honest here, a Mega Evolution for Golduck would look incredibly cool, right? I mean, look at it right here. I found this picture on Yahoo. This meditating Golduck Mega Evolution looks really, really cool. Oh my god, it looks amazing. But moving on, we have Slaking. Yes, Slaking. One of the laziest Pokemon to ever exist, second only to Snorlax. This Pokemon is quite literally laziness incarnate. But what if it didn't have to be? This Pokemon has an impressive stat total, boosting 150 in HP, 160 in attack, and 100 in defense, as well as 100 in speed. And as far as stats goes, this Pokemon is a pure powerhouse on its own, but the real issue with this Pokemon is its ability Traunt. And this ability, for those who don't know, skips every other turn during battle. Now, there is a way to prevent this, being Weezing's neutralizing gas, completely removing Traunt's effects on Slaking. However, I believe that would greatly benefit from having a normal and fighting type Mega Evolution, simply because even though its stats are impressive, they could be better. Boosting its defense and speed, making it an absolute monster, would also help, along with getting the ability Scrappy, allowing it to hit ghost type moves, and actually removing one of its weaknesses, in all honesty. And not to mention, they could take inspiration from its previous evolution, Vigoroth. And yeah, I think that would be really, really cool. If Slaking gets a Mega Evolution, I believe that it should be more like Vigoroth than Slaking. So yeah, I think it's really, really, really cool. Moving on, we have Luxray. Now, hear me out. I, like many others who like this Pokemon, believe that it deserves better than what it got, being pure electric type, and being completely weak to ground, while also being resisted by grass type Pokemon. Pure Electric is probably both the best and the worst typing for this Pokemon, because unlike Electros, who has the ability to levitate, which makes it impossible for ground type moves to hit, Luxray can easily be hit by ground type moves, like Earthquake, simply KOing it before it gets a chance to move. Luxray's stats are also pretty bad, with its best two stats being special attack and attack, with attack being 120 and special attack being 95 respectively. If this Pokemon gets a Mega Evolution, its stats will have to reach a ridiculous level for it to even be considered to be good at this point. With that being said, its abilities also aren't doing it any favors either, with its best ability being Intimidate, an ability that drops an opposing Pokemon's attack by one stage. However, if this Pokemon got a Mega Evolution, its attack, speed, and HP stats could increase, as well as giving it a new ability like Strong Jaw, an ability that boosts biting moves like Crunch or Thunder Fang, or Tough Claws, an ability that boosts the power of contact moves. Both abilities, as well as a sharp boost in its stats for a Mega Evolution, would give it what it would need to make this Pokemon much better. And that's also with it keeping its pure electric typing. If you add, like, let's say a dark typing onto it, you also have a unique typing that only exists for Morpeko, giving it stab for both Crunch and Thunder Fang. And that's pretty good. And I know a lot of people want Luxray to be an electric and dark type. I want Luxray to be an electric and dark type. That would be amazing. Could you imagine? Seriously, could you imagine the design that they could give this thing if it was just electric and dark type? That would be amazing. Seriously. Moving on, we have the Living Speaker, Exploud. Yes, I even think the Walking Speaker needs a Mega Evolution. Now, I'm going to be honest here. I don't really care much for Exploud. I don't hate it by any means, but I just don't use it. However, with its stats being as high as they are, I mean, look at them, 104 in HP, 91 in both special attack and physical attack. It's literally a mixed tank being able to eat moves while getting moves like Giga Impact to hit, as well as moves like Mega Punch or Hyper Beam, making this Pokemon a powerhouse. Its abilities Soundproof and Scrappy aren't bad either, even though I prefer Scrappy because it lets normal type moves hit ghost types, and I believe Exploud's Mega could actually keep its pure normal typing as well, simply because it just works for it. Not to mention, Scrappy would also remove Ghost immunity to it, allowing moves like Stab Giga Impact or Stab Hyper Beam to hit its usually weak ghost type Pokemon, making this Pokemon a force to be reckoned with. And seriously, this Pokemon is a very good mon, I just don't use it often. When I do use it, I do enjoy it. I do think that it is one of the better normal type Pokemon out there, being as much as it is. There also, again, could be so many different designs they could give it. It's the speaker Pokemon. It is the loud Pokemon. They could make its design, make it have speakers all over it. It could have something like its tails raising above it and having cannons to shoot sound waves. That would be ridiculously amazing. I think that would be probably the best design choice for something like Exploud, because it's just overall an amazing design. Just simple and easily edited, which I think is really cool. But another Pokemon I think deserve a Mega Evolution, something that I like a lot, is Kingdra. Now, let's talk about everybody's favorite dragon seahorse, Kingdra. No, I'm sorry, a lot of people just don't care much for Dragalge, at least from what I've seen. This Pokemon is fantastic. I love its design, and its type combination isn't bad, being only weak to Dragon and Fairy types. This Pokemon's stats are what I really have a problem with. Let me explain. Kingdra has a base stat total of 540, which is impressive. However, its stat spread is kinda bad, with its special attack, special defense, attack, and defense all being tied with 95 each, with HP and speed being its worst stats by far, being 75 and 85 respectively. HP being 10 points below its main 4 stats and 10 points below speed. The most disappointing stat here though is its speed stat. While yes, it does have the ability Swift Swim that boosts speed in the rain, it is insane to me that a powerhouse like Kingdra has to rely on an ability that relies on either the move Rain Dance or the abilities Drizzle or Primordial Sea to have the speed stat necessary to be good. I think with a Mega, they would have a chance to rearrange this Pokemon's stats to be a speedy special attacker or physical attacker that it's designed to be. I mean, seriously, Kingdra has all the potential in the world. I love this Pokemon. It is one of my favorite Pokemon of all time, and probably my favorite water type of all time. That's not Greninja, but there's so much potential in Kingdra. They just need to fix its stat spread and maybe give it Water Absorb or something like that as an ability. This Pokemon has amazing move coverage, and I just wish that they would make it better. And with a Mega, Kingdra would be so much better. Now, before we continue on, if you like this video, how about you consider shadow punching that like button? And if you want to be notified of more videos like this and other videos that I do on this channel, how about you guys break swipe that notification bell and that subscribe button? Well, without any further ado, let's get back into the video. Whoop! This next Pokemon is going to make M&J TV very happy. That Pokemon is Zebstrika. Now, this Pokemon is one of the many things M&J TV and I have in common. Zebstrika is a cool Pokemon. He and I have different reasons for liking it, but we can both agree that it is a good Pokemon, it being a speedy attacker with 116 in speed and 100 in attack. It would also be an amazing Pokemon to get a Mega Evolution, with its abilities also being amazing with Sap Sipper, Lightning Rod, and Motor Drive, all of which boost a specific stat, being Special Attack, Attack, and Speed respectively. Honestly, a slight boost to its attack and HP stats would make this Pokemon better, but if you gave it the ability Speed Boost, it would make this Pokemon magnificent. Now, let's be honest here. Zebstrika is amazing competitively. Having Sap Sipper as an ability, absorbing grass type attacks, boosting its special attack, that's amazing. That's ridiculously amazing, as a matter of fact. And if it got a Mega Evolution, it could just make it that much better. Now, there are other abilities aside from Speed Boost that Zebstrika could get that would make it a lot better, but I think that combination would be fantastic. And there's a lot of different type combinations that Zebstrika could have. You could have Electric and Fire, give it like this more burning electricity-like look. You could also give it Electric Dark, like Luxray. You could also give it Electric and Ice, which is really a really cool type combination. And I think if the only Pokemon that has Electric and Ice, the Electric and Ice typing, is Kyurem Black, I want to say, but I'm not 100% sure. If that's not the case, it'd be the only Electric Ice type. And Electric Steel, you could give it Armor. There's just so many different ideas that you could have for Zebstrika, which is amazing. It's just fantastic. But another Pokemon that I think deserves a Mega Evolution, and honestly this is one of the ones I think deserve one a bit more than the others, is Noctowl. Now, Noctowl is an interesting Pokemon, having high HP and special defense, as well as a decent special attack stat. Unfortunately, its other stats, as well as its abilities, make this Pokemon a very replaceable member of any team. I mean, of course, it's a regional bird after all. However, I believe that this Pokemon has potential. If this Pokemon were to Mega Evolve, it would get a major boost in its speed and special attack stats. That would, combine with its HP stat, would give it a great advantage. However, that still leaves the problem with its abilities. You see, Noctowl's abilities are Insomnia, Keen Eye, and Tinted Lens, meaning it doesn't have an ability that utilizes its stat potential, especially one that a Mega Evolution would give it. Insomnia prevents sleep, Keen Eye prevents accuracy drops, and Tinted Lenses increases the power of non-effective moves against other Pokemon like Wing Attack and Electric type Pokemon. None of these abilities suit what I think this Pokemon's Mega form could be. So I've decided that Magic Guard would be a perfect ability, simply because it's a rare ability only being held by 10 Pokemon, 9 of which are entire evolution lines and Sigilith. Pair that with its possible stats, as well as Ghost and Flying type or Dark and Flying type combo, and you have a great Mega Evolution for a forgotten burb. And it's true, Noctowl is a very forgotten Pokemon. The only prominence that Noctowl could ever really have up until it gets a Mega Evolution or something that would make this Pokemon better is the fact that Ash has a shiny Noctowl in the anime. That's it. Noctowl is a very, very good Pokemon, relatively speaking, if we're talking about regional birds, but it's a very forgettable Pokemon. Nobody ever wants to use a Noctowl on their team because it's your standard regional bird, normal flying, that is just there until you get a better Pokemon. But with a Mega Evolution, especially one that looks like this, I believe that Noctowl would be one of the best Megas to ever exist as far as the regional birds go. And it would only be the second regional bird to get a Mega Evolution, first obviously being Pidgeot. Now, I do want to talk about one of the many Pokemon that a lot of people agree with me on. And that Pokemon is Torkoal. Do I really have to say anything about this tank of a setup mon? Yes? Okay, then let's start off with its stats. Having an amazing 140 in its defense stats, this Pokemon is a pure tank able to absorb a huge amount of damage. The only problem is the rest of its stats. Speed isn't a problem, I mean it's a turtle, so yeah, it's going to be slow, but its special defense is a little too low, being a mere 70, half of its defense stat. It's also lacking in HP, attack, and special attack stats, with 70 in HP and 85 in both attack and special attack. Giving Torkoal a Mega Evolution would work wonders for this mon, just by boosting its 4 lowest stats, not counting speed. By maybe 20 or 25 points would make this Pokemon incredible, not to mention the potential combination of Fire and Rock, a type only exclusive to Carkol and Colossal, meaning it would be the third Pokemon to have this unique typing, as well as a possible Fire and Steel, exclusive only to Heatran, all the while losing its Water type weakness. Pair all that with its Drought ability, and you have a perfect tank for competitive battles or a playthrough. I mean, seriously, I've heard people talk just as much about Torkoal having a Mega Evolution as I have Flygon. And they're right. Torkoal is an amazing Pokemon for competitive. I use Torkoal for competitive. I know people, I have friends that use Torkoal as a competitive Pokemon because it is a huge tank, especially in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, where you could give it the electric Terra type with an air balloon just tearing everything from Torkoal that would ruin it. So yeah, Torkoal is one of the biggest Pokemon I think deserve a Mega Evolution. And again, you have Fire Rock, you have Fire Steel. Those are combinations that would be perfect for Torkoal just in general. So yeah, I mean, also, these two designs for its Mega Evolution are just really, really cool in general. So the second to last Pokemon that's on this list, I'm going to be honest with you, is a tie. And the reason it's a tie is because I couldn't put one above the other, even though I do like one better than the other. The two Pokemon are Nidoqueen and Nidoking. Now, the reason I decided to put these two is because they're a pair just like the Lottie twins. It wouldn't be fair if one got a Mega and not the other, as well as one being put above the other. They are pretty much the same Pokemon, except for the stats. Now, these Pokemon stats are different, with Nidoqueen being more of a tank, while Nidoking is just a steamroller. He's a pure attacker. Both have good attack stats, with Nidoking's being higher than Nidoqueen by a 10-point difference. However, I believe that if these Pokemon were to get Mega Evolutions, it would make these monsters more powerful than they already are. And all they would need is a boost in certain stats, like HP, defense, and special defense with Nidoking, as well as defense and special defense for Nidoqueen. And I'm not talking about much, like a 5 or 10 point boost at most for each of the stats. Pair that all together and give them the corrosion ability, and you have two of the best poison types in the game, and I would use Nidoking as a permanent staple of my team. I mean, it's my favorite poison type Pokemon of all time, so if it got a Mega Evolution, then it would be the best, and I would want it, and I would use it, and yeah, it's just, oh, I would love Mega Nidoking. Oh yes, that would be so cool. But I couldn't make a Mega Evolution list without talking about the Pokemon that everybody wants to have a Mega Evolution. And that Pokemon is Wobbuffet. It's too late for April Fools, isn't it? Yeah, it's Flygon. Of course it's Flygon! This Pokemon is incredible, boasting huge attack and speed stats. This Pokemon is beloved by many. They've wanted to see Flygon get a Mega Evolution for years, and with the announcement of Megas coming back next year in this new Legends game, people like me are hoping that it's finally time it gets a Mega Evolution. But why does everybody want Flygon to get a Mega Evolution? It's simple. people want it to be a bug and dragon type, the very first bug and dragon type that we have ever had. Now, that's the only real thing that's special about this type combo, is the fact that it doesn't exist. At least not yet. And to a lot of people, Flygon would be the perfect example of a bug and dragon type because it looks the part. And I agree. However, it could have a type combo of Dark and Dragon or Rock and Dragon, for example. Just because we might get a Mega Flygon doesn't mean it's going to be Bug and Dragon, even though it is the highest possibility. In all honesty, it really doesn't need anything aside from maybe a 20 or 30 point increase in HP, or a 15 or 20 point increase in defense, special attack, and special defense. Giving it a new ability wouldn't be so bad either. Giving it something like Compound Ice, for example, would be a good counter for an accuracy lowering move like Sand Attack. Overall, Flygon is the one that most people, including me, think deserve a Mega Evolution the most. And I'm going to be honest with you, I can see why people want that, because Flygon was the Pokemon that people thought were going to get a Mega Evolution in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, but instead we got Mega Altaria, Mega Swampert, Mega Sceptile, which I'm not saying any of those are bad and they shouldn't have existed, but a lot of people were disappointed that Flygon did not get a Mega Evolution, because to a lot of people, Flygon is a second pseudo-legendary, second only to Metagross. And I can kind of understand that. I like using Flygon when I get the chance. I think Flygon is pretty good. So, yeah, I truly believe that Flygon deserves a Mega Evolution. So, what did you guys think of this list? Did I leave out any Pokemon that you think that deserve a Mega Evolution? Why don't you guys leave it down in the comment section down below. I love reading your guys' comments. Hope to see you guys in the next video. My name is DarkhoopaYT, and I'm out. Bye, guys. Bye.